Welcome back. This is the final stretch of Morning Express. Now we want to cross over to Radisson Blu, where the Kenya Airways is finally launching the US direct flights, and the one who is speaking right now is Sebastian Amicos, who is the CEO of KQ. Let's cross over.
Which is an impact on the Kenyan economy, an impact on the fact that it will generate, generally speaking, GDP-based exchange, because we of course know that the direct and indirect employment opportunities will be created. Ourselves as Kenya Airways, we're going to create jobs just because we need to increase the number of people that we put into operations for such a flight. You will see it later. It will for sure boost trade just because of this direct flight. We know, and it's been not there are studies, many studies. You can go on IATA website, many studies showing and analyzing that the direct connection always increases trade, exchange, tourism, just because of the easiness of going without the necessity of changing the aircraft. And of course, we are very much interested as an airline, but also as a Kenyan company, to stimulate tourism into Kenya and into broader East Africa, because our scope is to fly people also beyond Nairobi. So that will definitely stimulate tourism across the country, again, just because of the fact that you can have a direct flight, which also in many cases will make a travel decision easier. So these are the four main reasons why we decided to launch this flight, in order to be present on both markets. The important part is that we will connect more than two cities, and this is what I really wanted to insist on. Our purpose is that we can bring customers from New York market, from US market, and distribute them behind. For example, one of the things we're just in preparation now, we will increase or we will launch also the flight between Port Louis in Maurice and US and Nairobi. And the whole purpose is that we have also a strengthened offer, because if you fly from JFK to Nairobi, that's the shortest route to go then further down to Mauritius, which is also in our interest, because our industrial interest is also to have a very good and enhanced offer of Nairobi hub. So we can, of course, there are many other countries to which we can fly you, to Rwanda, to Ethiopia, to Uganda, Tanzania, but the whole concept is also on the US side to offer a broader view that through Kenya you can go into an area where you can have so-called blue safari, green safari, whatever you want if you are a tourist, or just for business reasons as well. What about the technicalities? Of course, that's a daily product, so I would like to share some technicalities also about the flight. This is the daily non-stop flight both ways. This is how the schedule looks. So Vincent is going to share with you this later, but if you go onto our website, if you call any travel agent through the distribution systems, they can access flight KQ002 or flight KQ003, departing Nairobi 23:25, arriving the next day at 6:25, and departing back from JFK to Nairobi at 12:25, arriving 10:55. We have KQ002 and KQ003. As you know, our flight numbers are splitted between regions. So if you have a flight which is 150 something or 170, it goes to 113, it's Amsterdam. So we wanted to put KQ001, but we couldn't, because KQ001 is when the president flies. So it's Kenya 1, yes? So if the president flies with us, it will be always KQ001, but for the other flights, it's KQ002 and KQ003. So this is opening. If we go one day to Atlanta, we'll probably do KQ004 and 005. We have this setup. So this is also a symbolic new opening of a new geographic area in our systems. This is what is called in the industry an ultra long haul flight. Generally speaking, we call ultra long haul flights that are taking more than 12 hours. We had one of this type of flights close by, flying to China, but in this case it's 15 hours westbound and 14 hours eastbound. So it's classified as our first ultra long-haul flight. We decided to share with you a very simple graph which shows very symbolically but very close to reality the way in which this aircraft is going to operate. So normally when you take a flat map and you look at this, we are used to this picture, you would draw a direct line from Nairobi to New York, but this is not the way it's going to happen because of the winds. So or we're going to go north, that direction, or via the south, but this is very close to what's the real tracking of the aircraft will be in order to connect those two airports. So for us, it's technically also a huge challenge in terms of just operating the aircraft. This is something that is really new because of the length of the flight. That's an ultra long-haul flight that requires ultra resources. And here we wanted to introduce you a small show, which is I just going to be joined somewhere here, in the back, by the crew that's going to operate, I mean, not the crew, but the symbolic crew that's going to operate the flight. So just to show you that this is the crew that's going to be on each flight. You have 4 pilots that are going to operate this aircraft because they have to work in shifts because of the length of the flight. So you have 2 captains, 2 first officers that will be working in 4-hour shifts. Somebody takes off, 4 hours, the second pair goes to rest, and then they do shifts until they land. And we're going to have a 12 flight attendants, so it's called an extended crew, an augmented crew, because of the fact that this flight is so long. So for us also technically it's something extremely new, but we will make it. But just before boarding, you're going to have 15 people that needs to be present. And there needs to be present also another 15 people crew on the New York side. And we're going to have 2 aircrafts permanently in operation because we cannot rotate 1 aircraft within 24 hours. So basically you will have 2 aircrafts into operations all the time in order to match the network and make the offering. And just to impress you even more, it's 85 tons of fuel that we're going to load into the aircraft just one way. So, if my calculations are correct, 170 tons both ways to operate 1 return flight. So for us, from just an airline perspective, it's really something challenging, and this is why everybody is so committed and engaged and also excited, because we really need to adapt the way we operate in order to be able to deliver this service. We will operate the Dreamliner. Thank you very much. We will operate the Dreamliner with 234 total passengers. Of course, we operate the 787-8, so this is the smallest version of the currently operating Dreamliners. We're going to offer 30 seats in business class called Premium Ward, and economy 204 seats. So here there are no changes from our seat number offering. This is just like every Dreamliner that we are operating today. However, we will offer a different product, and we already launched many preparations for the ultra long haul flight, which are also going to be impacted on all of our network. So from today until October, you're going to see many changes in our product, but we have to also rethink the onboard product. And quite frankly, this is not only, I know that when I say product, generally the only box that is opening in everybody's mind is the food. We're going to change the food as well, because in 15 hours, we know about the food, we are working on that. But we have to redesign and redo the service scheme, readapt, and just even warn our passengers that over such a long flight, they have to take a walk. I mean, you cannot, it's really not recommended to sit in a chair for 14 hours without moving. So we are just preparing all of the elements of our onboard products that we're going to share when the flight is operated, when the flight starts operations, in order to prepare for this very long journey for our customers. And the inaugural flight, so the day we planned the first takeoff from Nairobi, is on the 28th of October. It's a Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. The reason why we selected this date is this is the beginning of the 2018 winter season by IATA. So we match the seasons. This is why today, 11th of January, we are inaugurating the sail, because we need a pretty long sail time in order to fill in the aircraft and fly first flight on the 28th of October. So if any one of you wants to book a ticket, please take your laptops or your mobiles. It's already possible. On the 28th of October, you can take off and go direct, non-stop from Nairobi to New York. That would be it on the technical side. The thing we planned now is to do you a little show. Majuma, where are you? Oh yeah, sorry. And to show you that the flight is already in the systems. So I give you the floor to proceed the operation. We decided that we'll book a ticket for our chairman. He didn't know that, so he will have a first ticket.
Michael, are you going to go to New York?
You make it director.
So let's say I tell you you are going to fly to New York. What would be your ideal dates, knowing that we are going to have our first flight on the 28th?
Okay, let me go. Let me see if the KQ crew have sorted it all out. So at least 2 days after you begin, you sort out the wine and the food. So I'll go on the 30th of October.
Okay, the 30 years, which means you are going to enjoy New York for a little while, great restaurants, great exhibitions. When do you want to come back?
She's already decided. She put me in the 5th, but that's okay.
Well, the 5th sounds quite good. Okay, so...
Not economy.
Well, listen, Michael, what we want to do here is to show our audience how cheap our bottom line fares are. So we are going to book you in economy.
Tough being the chairman, huh?
Okay, so as you can see, we have different fares, and we have what we call an entry-level fare, which on our website we call the Best Buy, which is today on this flight at 49,675 Kenyan shillings. So Majuma, why don't we proceed with this one?
Okay.
And on the return, it's already sold out. Okay, so let's go for the next level, which is the economy at 56,690.
All right, that was KQ CEO Sebastian Mikos talking about the direct flights from Kenya to the US, specifically to the New York. And of course, they talked about a number of benefits, one of them being enhancing trade and also connecting the US and East Africa. Of course, the inaugural flight is supposed to leave Kenya on the 28th of January of 2018. Of course, the flight